saw him, or a couple reporters saw him leave the field.
Yeah, he's fine. He just cramped up a little bit.
Do you have any more updates? I know I ask this like every day. Do you have any more updates on Ryan Jensen and what his status will be for the year?
Not at this time, I don't.
It's hot, as hot as it's ever been in Florida. Second day in pads. What did you think of the practice, and what did you tell your guys afterwards?
Started out good, obviously. The heat index got up there a little bit, so we took longer water breaks, but the effort's there. We just got to make sure the mental toughness is there. It won't always be this hot, but early in training camp, it's going to be training camp no matter what. But the effort's there. We just got to iron out the kinks to be expected early in training camp.
I know last year you had some days inside in the indoor facility. Some of those were rain out practices. Had to go inside. Would you just prefer to practice out here and not even use the indoor unless it was inclement weather, or are you planning to have a couple of practices inside just to give the guys a break from the heat?
We'll probably have some inside. We'll probably have some inside. We have some that we talked about wanting to go inside on some, but just getting them out here early, getting used to the pads and getting used to the heat and getting some extra conditioning was important.
Obviously, it's early in camp, but what are some things that you've noticed progression on, and what are some things that the team can really still kind of dig into it?
It's early in camp. We can dig into everything. And, we got to make progress every day. It's going to be a grind every single day. I'm not going to say we got great at something one day and then we go back the next day. It's training camp. It's early. We got to progress as a team, not as one individual group or position. And that's where we're trying to get to. So right now, every day is a grind.
A lot of healthy competition out there, and I know it's hard for you to focus on one player at a time, but are you seeing any kind of one-on-ones that are drawing your eye, players that are kind of really starting to catch your eye now?
I'm seeing a lot of give and take. As it goes on, we want to see consistency, not one-day wonders or one-hit wonders. So it's a lot of give and take right now. Again, still early in a lot of position battles on day 2 of pads. So as it goes on, we'll see who starts to separate.
Julio Jones and Jamel Dean going up against each other a few times today, whether it was during the team periods or in one-on-one. What can a guy like Dean, who's looking to take that next step in his career, learn from going up against a guy like Jones?
Anytime you're going up against a Hall of Famer, you're going to have some things you want to learn and you want to play your best. But Julio's smart mentally, and he has a lot of crafty moves at the line of scrimmage. So Dean can't do nothing but get better playing against a player like that.
Was talking yesterday about the importance to ramp up the interception total for the entire defense. He even mentioned 30 as a target number. How do you get that number up? Where does it start?
First of all, we got to catch the ones they throw to us, and then we got to be in the same place mentally. We got to be in position to make those type of plays. We dropped, I don't know how many last year, and Carlton dropped quite a few. He caught a bunch, but he dropped quite a few. But we just got to catch the ball. You can practice it all you want, but you got to catch them in the game. So that type of thing, getting tips and everything else helps and breaking on the ball. We just got to keep working at it.
Jensen, is it a matter of further testing is needed, waiting for swelling to go down? I don't know if you can share any of that with us.
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for everything, the testing and the swelling to go down so we can see more.
Okay, second opinions too, things like that?
I'm sure of it.
The safety room, Keanu Neal's a bit of an outlier with his size. How can you use a bigger guy like that, in your hand when you're dealing out there on defense?
Well, he's a great safety. He's in good shape right now. He came out big. He came out when he's playing for Atlanta. He was a big safety. We knew that coming out. Well, what Cam does, he can think the game and he can play back. He's not just a box player. He understands schemes. He understands how to play zones, and he can play some man. So he's a utility side safety, but he impacts the game because when the ball is played on the perimeter so much, when smaller wideouts and running backs go try and block him, he can run right through them. So he has a role, and we're still trying to figure that part out, and we understand it, but we like everything he's doing.
It doesn't just limit him in the box, right? Like he's a guy that you could still.
No, he's
depend
a
on in
safety.
coverage.
We don't have any handcuffs on him. He's a safety. He's practicing all the safety stuff, and he's doing good. He's a little heavier in Dallas because he had to play linebacker, but he's gotten back down the size, and he looks good.
Any idea how much weight he's lost here?
If maybe 10 or 12, give or take, but he's gotten down to his playing weight when he was coming out of college.
Some big moments last year in some big games. You guys had some miscommunication on defense, maybe some on the back end. How much of an emphasis is that now? You've had the ball guys have been together for 3 or 4 years?
No, it's a big emphasis, not just the back end, all the way around, offensively and defensively. If we don't have communication and not on the same page, we can't execute at a high level. And that's what most of this stuff that's going on in practice is centering around right now. Situational football, being on the same page and being smarter. Talent will only get you so far. You got to be intelligent to make it the rest of the way.
Center and interior offensive line in camp already. But I want to ask you about tackle and just what stood out to you and the guys backing up and competing for the backup tackle spots.
Well, you got to be able to play both sides, obviously. That plays a lot to do with it. So you got to be intelligent, probably without getting the reps. So that's going to be important going forward as well. It's hard to find backup tackles because if a tackle is that good as a backup, he's probably a starter. So you have to develop them and you have to make them. We got a couple guys that we're looking at right now. We got some that we've had and we got some new ones. So that will play itself out as we go forward.
Leonard has been out in the system for 3 years. You know, he obviously had to make some adjustments coming over from Jacksonville. But where do you see him excelling in the system?
Just his endurance, being an every down back, you know, he's a 3-down back. And before he was a 2-down back, he's become a 3-down back. He was a great pass catcher when he came out of college. He just didn't get the volume. So now you're seeing the volume of that in his versatile game, that you can't just crowd the box because he can catch the ball. And I think that's where his game grew.
He's got some moves, too, for a big guy.
I watched him coming out. I've seen him. He's light of foot no matter how big he is, but he understands the passing game and he can run away from you.